Hello and good day everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, The Excellent Medic. On today's video, I'm doing a topic titled 7 Proven Ways to Study Anatomy and Never Forget What You Learn. Please do well to subscribe, to comment, and to like my video. Thank you. So yes, anatomy is a very bulky course. There's so much you want to learn. There's so much you want to cover up in a very short space of time. And then you keep on reading anatomy and keep on forgetting it, or you keep on hating anatomy because it's so bulky. You're reading this one, you're forgetting, you don't know where this nerve is, you don't know where this stuff is. You understand, there's so much in anatomy, but I'll give you 7 solid tips that'll help you read anatomy and never forget what you learn. The first tip I'll give you is that you should force yourself to develop interest in anatomy. You have to force yourself to develop interest in it. That's one first step, like very great step that will help you understand this anatomy. If you can force yourself to develop interest in it, how do you do this? Firstly, I'll give you a tip to forcing yourself. Try to understand that you need this anatomy in your life's journey as a doctor, because you cannot be a very good doctor without knowing your anatomy very well. Especially if you want to be a surgeon, you have to really be good at your anatomy. So having this mindset that, as a surgeon, I'll need anatomy, you actually want to study this anatomy very, very well, because you know that, I'll use it in my practice and everything. Or look for something that motivates you to study anatomy. Look for a role model, look for somebody, and just have it in your mind that you need to develop this interest, because it will help in your practice as a doctor. And then secondly, read anatomy with your atlas. You cannot do anatomy without your atlas. If you've been doing this before, it's not going to work. It's not going to work at all, because you might just have that knowledge for a very short time and then you forget it. I remember one time where I read something in anatomy and I was asked a question. And when I was asked that question by a doctor I just saw strangely, what came to my mind was not what I read, was the picture I visualized. So anatomy is all about visualizing. Do you understand? Visualize what you see. Even in embryology, don't try to read it abstractly. Try to visualize what you're reading. It helps you remember these things very well. So don't try reading anatomy without visualizing. Do you understand? So that's what you do. Secondly, read your anatomy with your atlas. Try to visualize what you're reading. It keeps you very strong on what you've read. Do you understand? And then the third point I'll give you is that you can use your body to learn anatomy. You can use your body to learn anatomy. For example, if you're reading something like the femoral triangle, you know where it's located. Try to look at the femoral triangle in your body. Just use your body and try to assume and know where those muscles are passing. You know that the femoral triangle has a lateral border that's bounded by the sartorius muscle. It has the medial border is by the adductor longus. The superior border is formed by the inguinal ligament. So you should just have to understand these things by using your body to explain these things for you. If you use your body, you least likely forget, because it's your body you're using. You understand? So try to use your body when you're reading these things. Try to picture them in your body. Try to use yourself to learn this thing. It helps you remember this thing. Just try this. You'll see it will really shift your anatomy knowledge. And then the fourth step is that you should teach the anatomy to yourself loudly. Teach it to yourself loudly, or teach it to somebody loudly. Don't just read it yourself. Teach it loudly, say it out loud, read it loudly, and you understand, just teach it loudly when you've studied. It will help you know how far you've gone. It will help you know your errors, so that when you're teaching it loudly and you see that, there's a place you've forgotten, at that instance, go and check the answer there, and it will help you never to forget it, because you might feel you know it, but when you start teaching it out loudly, you see that there are some errors that you've made and you have to correct them at that instance to make you never forget them. So try to teach the anatomy to yourself or to somebody out loud. It may look mad, but that is how to learn this thing. You understand? So try to teach it out loudly. It's very, very important. Then you have a study group. Have a study group. That is very important. You guys can share topics to yourselves based on the course I learn or whatever. Read and be like, you're going to explain this and you're going to teach this thing. It's going to shift your mindset. It's going to help you read it with a mindset that you're going to understand and you're going to explain. Because when you know you're going to explain it to your colleagues, you want to understand every key point. That is going to help you explain it very well and also understand it very well and consolidate it. And I think when you do that stuff, it's really hard for you to ever forget what you've read. I remember before my Part 1 MB, there were some topics that were shared to me to teach. And because I knew I was to deliver the topics, I read them so well. Like I could not even forget some. I cannot even forget. I don't think I'll be able to forget those things I read very well because I taught them. So I had to read them very well. I had to understand them very well. So you guys can do that. That's how it will help you never to forget what you read. Do you understand? So that is the point. And then the fifth point is that you should try and do active recalls. Try and do active recalls. When you're alone, try and say, oh, let me talk about this canal. Let me talk about this inguinal canal. Let me talk about this thing. It's really, really important. It's really, really helpful. Do active recalls. Do active recalls on some things that you've read in anatomy. That will really help you in your anatomy journey. And then the other point I'll give you is that you should have it in mind that this knowledge has to be with you for life. As I said earlier, you have to have it in your mind that you're not just reading this thing to pass your exams. It is very important to pass, no doubt. But have it in your mind that you need it to practice for the rest of your life. You need this knowledge to practice for the rest of your life. Like even after preclinical, some people think they're just going to dump the anatomy, they're going to dump the inguinal canal they learned, or they're going to dump the axilla they learned. No, as a doctor, you need to understand these things. These are the basis for your becoming a doctor. You cannot have a light knowledge on these things and expect to be a very sound doctor, especially a surgeon. I remember during my postings, one of these days where I was asked a question on something I read in preclinicals about, it was about the inguinal canal. And I was like, God, imagine I did not read this thing well. It would have been bad. Because, yes, it would have been very bad. I would have not known that stuff. It would have been really, really bad. So I thank God I was able to talk about it. And when I was reading it then, I thought it was just for the knowledge. Now I'm seeing the practical aspect that, oh, this is how hernias occur. This is how surgeries are done. You have to know these landmarks because it's going to help you as a surgeon to really perform your surgeries well. So if you want to be that surgeon, that Ben Carson, as you're saying, or that very good doctor you want to be, you have to know your anatomy well. Have in mind that this is for practice, this is for life. And you help you read it very, very well. To help you read it very, very, very well, as I said. So you have to, sometimes we do surgeries with our doctors, and if the surgery is going on, we are going to be asked some questions like, tell me about this canal. How does this hernia occur? You hear things like processus vaginalis. You think that all those things are mere knowledge that you're gaining. No, they are the basis for you becoming a doctor. So have this mindset that you're reading this thing, not just to pass alone, which is important, but you have to hold it for the rest of your life. It's going to make you read this thing and be like, oh, this is what I'm going to use and practice. And you may not have the time to go back to everything again, to go and start reading back everything as a doctor. There's so much ahead to read. So everything you're reading, read it with the mindset that you may never come back to it again. And also be time conscious. But read it with that mindset. If you have that mindset that you may never have the time to come back and you're going to use it for practice, you're going to want to understand every concept very well in anatomy. And it will help you. As I said, your atlas is there, visualizing is there. And then the very last point, 7 points, is that you should follow groups on social media that like give you medical content groups, anatomy groups. Why am I saying this? When you come online or you come to your Instagram or your TikTok or whatever, the very first thing you see is maybe identify this muscle, identify this part of the body, identify this nerve. You understand? It helps you to remember these things. There's no magic. When you come, like me, if you check my Instagram and my TikTok or wherever, fully medical groups, like every time, even when I was having the holiday during my MB, when I come to my social media, I just get pumped up with one question. Talk about this. Where is this actually running to? It helps me remember this thing. There's no magic there. I think this bowl really helps me remember my anatomy, because if I did not follow some of these groups, there are a lot of things I think I would have forgotten. And as soon as I just see that I've forgotten this stuff, I try to learn it there, or I go back to my notes or my jotter or online and check. So you have to follow social media groups that have contents like this, anatomy groups, medical content. You really appreciate what I'm saying when you do this. There are lots I can tell you. Anatomy professor. There are lots. There are just a lot. Just go online and check, and you really appreciate this thing. So thank you very much for watching my video. I hope I've been able to bless you and help you and make you love anatomy. So just do all these things and you really appreciate it. My name is Efang San, and don't forget to like, to subscribe, to comment, and I'm really grateful. Bye bye, all the very best.